Let's go to wide receivers. Luther Burden, who we've talked about how excited we are for the future of Luther Burden in this offense. But how about the now? 77% available, 17.7 points per game when he sees above a 20% target share this season. He's done that 3 games as you look at the Week 17 fantasy leaders. And, of course, with how the game ended, we'll have to keep an eye on his injury status as well. But we got to hear from Caleb Williams on some of the excitement around Luther Burden.
Yeah, it's good to have Luther back. Let's put it that way. Getting the ball in his hands, as he said before, it's a problem when you get the ball in his hands. And so just giving him a shot, let him go make plays and get the ball, give him the best runner ball that I can so that he can go and be explosive and be the player that he is and why we drafted him here.
Luther Burden, guys, I mean, every time he touches the ball, Jay, it feels like there's some electricity with him, and it's great to see when healthy, the target share and all the production has kind of gone upwards as Caleb has grown into this passing offense.
Yeah, picked him up off the waiver wire in my Australian league where I'm in the final and dominating my friend Jackson King. I was very excited to see Bijan Robinson give Jackson 195 McNuggies last night as I further twisted the knife with Bijan being the captain of my team. But Luther Burden, just having him on my team in the championship week was just phenomenally exciting. Right. Watching him every single play and seeing Connor just kind of the diversity of his skill set. Right. He's getting short stuff. He's operating sometimes out of the slot. He's catching deep touchdowns. I know he dropped a pass on the final drive and also kind of got banged up in the end zone, but it seems like there's not too much of a concern there. And we're just with Rome Odunze's health concerns and with the fact that the Bears want to win this game. Like the Bears would rather get the 2 seed, play the Packers in round 1, and not have to play the Rams. So I think that Luther Burden, assuming that he is healthy and good to go, yeah, he's like a locked-in wide receiver 2 type.
Yeah, it feels that way, Matthew, especially in another offense that it feels like we all want shares of at every single different skill spot.
For sure. I mean, listen, and make no mistake, Ben Johnson is absolutely very much looking forward to this matchup against his former team in the Lions. And the other thing is that the Bears are preparing for the postseason. They know that they're whether they're the 2 or the 3 or whatever, they're preparing for a postseason run. They have legitimate Super Bowl aspirations. And if they are going to make that kind of run that they want to, Luther Burden needs to be a part of this offense, right? And so this is a game that, to your point, not only do they want to win, but this is about trying to set themselves up for the offense of the future. They'll get Rome Odunze back, but Luther Burden needs to be a part of this offense moving forward. So I expect him to get a decent amount of target share, especially after he was such a key part of the game against San Francisco. Didn't have the result they wanted, but it wasn't Luther Burden's fault that they lost that game against the Niners. Last thing I just want to say here about Jay's Australian league. He called points McNuggies. Connor, did you hear that? Did anyone else catch that?
I didn't understand.
And also, like, this Australian league, why do I feel like Jay's the only one drafting American football players, and he's somehow convinced everyone else has got like a bunch of Collinwood Magpies on their team, and it's like, why am I losing 100-0.
Jay got Jameer Gibbs in round 7.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I've got Jonathan
massive
Taylor.
Vibes of that.
Yeah, Jackson's got Scott Pendlebury, Collingwood former captain.
Ryan Oswald asks, where do you gents think Burden should be drafted next year? I think we go with the assumption that DJ Moore is not on this team before answering this question.
Yeah, what is he like?
Well, you guys asked me yesterday, would I take him before Odunze, and I think I said, I believe, yes, I would. But it's so close.
Does he go in like the 4th, 5th round?
I'd say 5th.
Yeah?
5th round.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's going to be a hype guy, Matthew. You can see the training camp videos from here, from a mile away. The hype's going to – it might actually go too far where I'm like, eventually this is too much. That happens a lot. But I think Matthew, he will be highly, highly coveted next August.
I think there's no question. He will absolutely be a hype guy, a sleeper guy. And I think 4th or 5th round is about the right range. People forget how deep wide receiver is, and then you start getting into the range of like, well, am I taking Luther Burden or am I taking like Justin Jefferson, who the chance that Justin Jefferson's going to fall down, maybe that's a little bit too far for Justin Jefferson, but people forget you're like Luther Burden or Devontae Smith or Ladd McConkey or you know what I mean? Like
T.
there's
Higgins.
just going to be
yeah.
T. Higgins. T. Higgins probably is going to go ahead of him, but like just in terms of like. When you start doing the rankings, again, go check out my top 50 rankings, my way too early top 50 rankings for 2026 on rotoworld.com, NBCSports.com, company man. I just, when you're going through it and trying to rank the wide receivers, it's like you forget like how many good wide receivers there are that either produced this year, that you have high expectations for next year, or that had a down year, but like again, what do you do with Justin Jefferson, right? I mean, again, we got to figure out what they do. What do you do with Marvin Harrison Jr.? What do you do with McConkey? It's been tough. Been an up and down year for Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, like those kind of guys, right? Anyway, but I think right now I agree with you. Luther Burden, somewhere in the 4th or 5th round, he's definitely going to be a hype guy, and I definitely think he probably gets drafted as a top 20 wide receiver next year.
How about Parker Washington, 63% available? Over the last 2 weeks, Matthew, a 28% target share. Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence love this guy.
Yeah, they really do. And Parker Washington can play football. Just be clear of that. You see it right there, the Parkler. I like that, by the way. Nice job, whoever did the headline there.
Definitely Deb.
Emmy Award winning Super Deb. Back-to-back games with double-digit targets, right? 10 targets in each of the last 2 games, over 100 receiving yards each of the last 2 games. You love this matchup against Tennessee, right? The Titans have allowed the 7th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. And so Parker Washington, as Brian Thomas continues to have trouble finding his way in this offense and teams are bracketing Jacoby Myers, this is a pass-first offense that loves to throw to Parker Washington. He's out there in about 63% of leagues. I suspect that if you're playing in Week 18, he's probably already rostered because I think he's probably taken in a lot of competitive leagues. Parker Washington, no big deal, but part of the 7th place champion, live at noon on the Tube. Congratulations to Parker. By the way, your ring will be in the mail, but I was able to use his 8 for 115 last week against you, Connor. That was part of the onslaught with Derrick Henry and the Drake May and Chase Brown, everything that I put on you. Parker Washington, also a big part of what we were doing to you, Connor, to Fantasy Life commenter. Anyway, but yes, Parker Washington, good enough for my 7th place team. He's good enough for your Week 18 team. There's no question about that.
Jalen, I have nothing to say about this second consolation game.
Let's move on.
Yes. Jalen McMillan, 98% available, a team-high 20% target share in Week 17. I mean, it's not been pretty watching this Bucs offense, Jay. But I think what matters here is they are playing a very meaningful game somehow against the Panthers. And McMillan has found his way back into this offense after being hurt all year.
Yeah, I don't understand anything about this Bucs team.
Same.
If you'd asked me before the season who was going to be the number 1 wide receiver for the Bucs come Week 17, Week 18, Jalen McMillan would have been a distant 4th choice. But apparently, he is the guy in this offense for the meantime. His target share very healthy. I don't understand why Emeka Egbuka isn't out there. I don't understand the work Chris Godwin's getting. I don't understand why the team sucks. Why does this team suck? They have good players. It's just nothing is working at the moment.
The defense definitely sucks.
The defense sucks. Baker Mayfield, I don't think he's right physically. I think there's something wrong. Ever since he did the shoulder, he hasn't been remotely the same. In any case, though, this is a team that is throwing the ball, and they got a fairly favorable matchup against the Panthers secondary. And Jalen McMillan, I think at this point, I would prefer the upside of Jalen McMillan to whatever is going on with Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah.
And I know Godwin had the big game and he's been out there, but I think they're in a similar tier.
Some deeper league targets here. Isaac Tesla, Jalen Coker, Shamari Dike, and Elik Io Manor reappearing here, Matthew. Both Titans receivers.
Yeah, for DK, you prefer DK to Io Manor. DK's had a 27% target share over his last 4 games. But Io Manor got 2 end zone targets last week, so he started to reemerge. But going back to the top of those lists of the others receiving votes, Isaac Tesla quietly has scored in 4 of the past 5 games, 8 end zone targets in that stretch. He's a little bit touchdown or bust, but with the Lions out of it, I think they'll want to get a longer look at Isaac Tesla in this game. How about Jalen Coker? Cokeheads finally unite. We've got something here. Since week 12, he's had an 84% route participation, 18% target share. It's still Tedero McMillan and then Jalen Coker, but I think he's overtaken Xavier Legette for the number 2 role in Carolina's passing offense, such as it is. And then you mentioned the 2 Titans wide receivers. They have to throw. And I prefer DK to Io Manor. But again, if you're desperate, those are guys that are out there in many leagues.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.